Happy Halloween, everybody. Today we are about to witness the Street Fighter's Another Fateful Day story. We call it the what was that B word again? Now I remember. Banshee's Last Cry. Apparently, there was a ghost and somebody was killed. I wonder what happened. But before we get to that, let's have one more sparring match with my lovely Sea Viper. Yes, I completed all of her lessons on the other stream. Sorry I didn't do the celebration, but this calls for a celebration dance. Oh, if you think that's good, check this out. And now for the celebration dance. Check her out. I guess she can dance after all. Looks like Sea Viper does do a little dancing herself. All right.
Wow. Well, and all right.
Hold on. What in blazes?
Hello? I'm down here. How about you?
Oh no.
Don't be plus for effort.
Are you kidding me?
Yes. That's right. Well, at any rate, and all right.
You like that? Huh? You like that? Who's bad now, huh? Who's bad now, Sea Viper? Grace Hill, whatever your name is. Oh, no, you don't. What?
Yes.
You skimpy little redhead. It's on now. I hate it when she does that. Whoa. Stay your fine self now. There's gonna be some changes around here. I'm in charge of this place. You do what I say.
Wow. Well.
All right. Now that we finished some business around here, let's find out some info about this spooky ghost. Here we go, everybody. Street Fighter's Last Cry, crossed with Banshee's Last Cry. A night of tragedy unfolds after a group of fighters find a mysterious note. On it reads the words, "Tonight Midnight." Whoa. Welcome to the Kung Fu Kong Villa. During your time here, you will be going by the name of Max. Enjoy your stay. Why would my name be Max? When I came to, I found myself in front of a fancy building. This is the Kung Fu Kong Villa Resort. A girl appearing as a blue shallot spoke to me in a friendly voice. A resort? It all came back to me as I consider what she said. Kung Fu Kong Corporation, a re-owned martial arts calibrate, runs this facility for fighters from all over. As a fighter myself, I have been invited here. We appeared as blue charlatans to hide our true identities and prevent needless confrontations between red blood fighters. I'm a guest at this resort too. I go by Grace here. What's your name? She asked my mind search for the answers. I'm Max. Nice to meet you. Grace chuckled in response. Well, let's get going. Lead the way. The glass door in front of us gleamed brightly in the evening twilight as if beckoning us to use it. From the moment on, I would spend the night here using Max as my alias. Alice's. A wave of excitement for what awaited me washed up my body as I pushed the open door. The Banshee and Street Fighter's Last Cry. Welcome, Max and Grace, I presume? A man of medium build greeted us in the space's entrance. My name is William Forrest. At least here it is. The apron he wore and his claim to authority gave him the appearance of a resort management, but he was also a guest. I've been visiting here for a long time, so they put me in charge of managing things while I'm present. He then took a moment to explain a few things to Grace and me, as it was our first time visiting. Let's go over some ground rules. First, no snooping around in others' business. Second, just because we're all fighters doesn't mean you can go around picking fights. Fighters took on new identities here in order to unwind and relax. As long as you follow those simple rules, feel free to do as you like. There's a game room and a billiard room, and the food here is quite good, William added, winking as if he had just sealed a great deal. And here are your room keys. A voice called from behind the reception desk nearby. A woman in an apron similar to William stood there, smiling gently. That's Colleen. Like me, she's a veteran around here and helps out with things behind the scenes. At the mention of her name, Colleen nodded politely. A whiteboard in front of Rip's reception listed all the room numbers and the guests currently staying at the resort. Max, your room is 206. Grace, 207. She explained as she handed us our keys. The guest rooms are upstairs on the second floor. They should be ready for you, but since dinner is about to be served, you can wait in the lounge if you like. Colleen suggested, pointing to the area next to the stairs. The lounge was cozy, furnished with a rustic fireplace. A large coffee table was surrounded by sofas, enough to seat about 10 people. True to its name, it seemed like the perfect place to relax and chat. I think I'll wait here, Grace exclaimed as she threw herself onto the sofa. She stretched and let out a satisfied sigh. Having seen her embrace realization, I decided to follow suit. Crossing the entrance, I sat down on the sofa opposite Grace. Busy with dinner preparations, William and Colleen hurried into the kitchen at the back of the first floor. Without anything particular to talk about, I certainly gazed at Grace. Even though her form was obscured by a blue shallot, I could still make out the impression on her face. Expression. Her eyes, dark and deep, locked onto mine, her smile radiating a warmth that felt both inviting and disarming. Even the way she sat, her head tilted ever so slightly, was endearing. There was no doubt she was an attractive girl. If only we know what she looked like, besides the description. I could help but wonder what kind of fighter she was. Just as I started to imagine, I quickly shook my head. I had been warned not to involve myself in others' business. Here I was obsessing over the first cute girl I see. How pathetic, I thought to myself. 3 girls chatted loudly while descending the stairs. What the heck are we even supposed to do here? Pretty but somewhat ringed girl asked as she led the group. We eat as much as we want and then go back to our room to watch TV. Followed the smiling girl trailing along, who had a round, jolly appearance. The beat-stepping tomboyish girl in the middle shrugged her shoulders as an expression. Might as well get some use out of the TV after Debbie was so annoying about getting a room with one. I said I was sorry, Molly. Debbie responded apologetically, instantly practicing her sumo as she did. I don't want to miss a sumo tournament, that's all. Honestly, why would you waste your time here watching TV? The pretty girl responded, furrowing her eyebrows. There's no reason to get so angry, Tiffany, Debbie exclaimed. Suddenly, Grace asked me softly, all 3 of them are pretty cute, huh? Which one would you choose? I flattered. Was she talking about a sparring partner or a date? Unsure, I hesitated before responding. A, the beautiful Tiffany. B, the tomboyish Molly. And let's see, C, the charming Debbie. Or D, I prefer someone like you. D, I prefer someone like you. You got a type, huh? Grace joked as she squinted her eyes playfully, knowing she was getting a rise out of me. But you know, that's not allowed, right? We can't go around picking fights, remember? Oh, you mean as a sparring partner? That's right, we're all fighters here after all. What did you think I meant? Oh, I mean, my response trailed off awkwardly. What's this? Suddenly, the sound of a car engine broke the silence. It continued to grow louder, then came to a stop. Yeehaw! Here at last! A middle-aged man with broad shoulders, a rugged look, and speaking in the distinct southern ancient storeman. And then there was his wife, a delicate woman with a fragile, almost meditative aura accompanying him. The Buchans welcome. William raced out of the kitchen to greet them. How was your trip here? Well, the car held up okay, but the roads were rough once it got to snowing. Glad we made it before everything froze. As he spoke, we could see that small flakes of snow were now contained in the blowing wind outside. The Costco clock on the wall by the entrance squawked 7 times. It was already 7 p.m. William, shall we start serving dinner? Asked a petal woman who approached from across the room. She was dressed in a work uniform, suggesting her position was to help around the resort. Ah, yes, Abby, please, if you will. Abby replied with a cheerful uh-huh and led us to the dining hall. The dining hall was Spanish, filled with tables covered in white cotton cloths, each one evenly spaced apart. The dining hall was spaces filled with tables covered in white cotton clothes, each in one evenly spaced apart. The trio of girls from before and the bachanas took their seats at their respective tables. It seemed everyone assumed Grace and I were a couple, as we were seated across from each other at the same table. I can't wait. Grace smiled across the table, her eyes shining. Yeah, me too. Seems like the food here is pretty famous. I added as she tilted her head slightly in response. It's not just the food, she said with a smile. I get the feeling something's about to happen, don't you? About to happen? Like what? It feels like we all came here and became people just a little bit different than our usual selves. For some reason, it feels like we have a part to play. A part to play? I looked over at William, who was preparing at the kitchen counter. You mean like we'll start helping out as a resort like William? Yeah, something like that. Grace will reply with nodding. I think being with you is also part of it. Something might happen to us together. The thought that I might have a greater purpose here made a fresh wave of excitement wash over me. I grinned. A, that must mean your part here is to guide me. B, that must mean our parts to play as lovers, baby. Okay, I ain't going that far. That means your part here is to guide me? Who knows? A mysterious smile curled up on her lips. Before I realized dinner had come to an end, I was so focused on chatting, I barely noticed the food. Nothing better than a cup of tea after a meal. A man approached our table. With his sleeveless shirt showing off his beefy arms, he carried 2 cups filled near to spilling. He set the tea down, half of it spilling onto the table, and then gave a thumbs up with his loose hand. Everyone says I make a killer cup. He introduced himself as Bobby. Like Abby, he helped out around the resort. Nice to meet you. He laughed out as he slapped my back in the chest. Ow! I figured it was a friendly gesture, but honestly, it hurt. It seems he didn't quite have a sense of his own strength. Despite most of the spilling, the tea was still refreshing. I set the cup down and suddenly caught a scent in the air. That smells good. What is that? As I searched for the source of aroma, my eyes landed on a man at the corner table casually tilting his cup. His hunched posture seemed oddly suspicious. Over there, that's John, Abby said quietly as she came to clear our table. I believe he's adding cinnamon to his tea. He always spices it up. The resort boasted an array of tea options where adding milk and lemon was only the beginning. Shall we? Promoted by Grace, we left the dining hall. As we passed by the entrance, the girls from before were making a fuss again. It was outside our window. Molly exclaimed as she furrowed her brow in confusion. I'm sure it wasn't there before dinner, Debbie added in dismay. I made sure the door and windows were locked. Tiffany chimed in, bristling. Please, calm down. There's no need to worry. You found this outside your window, you say. William was holding a piece of paper in his hand. Intrigued, I leaned in to take a closer look. I leaned in. The following was written. Tonight, midnight, D. Tonight, midnight, D. Some letters were particularly faded and nearly legible. Yet, for some reason, I felt like I could read them. A. Tonight at 12 a.m., someone will dance? Or B. Doesn't this say someone will die at midnight? Doesn't it say someone will die at midnight? What do you mean someone will die at midnight? That's so scary. Debbie panicked, her pudgy hands covering her mouth. This must be a joke, said Tiffany harshly. She looked at me with a hard stare. Uh-oh. Cornered, I held up my hands defensively. Someone will die at midnight. I don't even know why I intercepted it that way. It was like a strange sense of deja vu, like this had all happened before, or maybe it's all predetermined, like an endless cycle, and it will happen again. What's going on down there? The butcherman came downstairs and joined the conversation. Chase took the paper from William's hand and snorted. They stuck this to the second floor window without no ladder or nothing? They must be out of their mind. Apparently, the window in the next room was too far away to reach just by hand. The wind must have blown it from somewhere and got it stuck up there. He had a point. That was indeed a possibility. Chase turned toward the girls who were looking upset and flashed a grin that revealed the shine of his gold tooth. Now you gals better turn those frowns upside down, you hear? Whether turned or not, Chase Swagger's speech lightened the mood, leaving everyone feeling a less tense. The girls headed back to their room as they muttered while William returned to clean up. For some reason, I found myself sitting down on the sofa in the lounge with the Buchanas. Thanks for calming everyone down back there. That's what I'm here for, friend. Chase said with a smug expression painted on his face. Well, I might not look like it, but I'm the head of Hocho of a big old team back home. And when you're leading, you can't let even the littlest problem slide you get. He gave off a somewhat shady impression, but maybe there was more to him than meets the eye. Chase leaned forward as I couldn't help but be impressed. Someone like you, a youngin', I can whip you into shape and make you something real special. Well, really? You're damn straight I can. Join the team. Train up a bit. You'll be a hot shot licking split. I wasn't sure what kind of team it was, but the idea of being a leader sounded pretty cool. Chase continued pressing me. How about it, Max? Want to join me? I considered for a moment before answering. A, sign me up, or B, sorry, I don't think so. Let's do it. Sign me up. Yeehaw! Chase puffed out his chest with a grin. Then it's a deal. We better get moving. From then, things started moving fast. Chase took me to the town where the team was located. And from there, I was under his command. I began as an errand boy, but slowly made my way up to the ranks. Eventually, I became Chase's right-hand man. 30 years of sleepless nights and giving it my all. Having steered the team to success, I thought it was time to unwind and visit the resort again to reward myself. Yeehaw! Here at last. My car fought through the blizzard to reach its destination. A few guests were already at the resort, and it seemed. A little did I know, this was just the beginning. It was going to be a long, harrowing night. Yeehaw! I'm the leader. At end. All right, let's continue. Son. Okay, what am I supposed to do now? Okay, I read that so far. Let's try this one. Okay, that's right. Tonight at 12 a.m., someone will dance? I don't even know why I read it that way. Maybe it was because of how this place looked. Like a grand ball could be hosted here. As we continue talking, Bobby happened to pass by. Oh, wait. Maybe he overheard us, or perhaps something came to mind, because he turned on his heel and walked down the stairs. Curiosity tugged at me. I followed him downstairs. And he's playing Street Fighter 6. Before I knew it, the game room spread out before me, filled with the rows of arcade cabinets. I watched as Bobby walked up to one of the machines. Power Steering Fighter 6? Legacy and innovation meet at last. As I peeked at the screen from beside him, he continued playing and said, I overheard your conversation from earlier and it made me remember something. This game is getting an update tonight. The update will bring a wave of players to online compete and play. So he thought it would be a good idea to get some practice before things heat up. What do you say, Max? Want a tango? Bobby said while grinning. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't into fighting games. You better be into fighting games, Max. I'm in. Then bring it. With that, we jump right in. Oh my god! That Avatar is me! And I'm wearing the original Avatar outfit, just like I've been seeing in trailer. See that Avatar right there? I didn't get a chance to say this, but I kind of love the design they made on the Avatar or on the Street Fighter 6 and everything. Look at those gloves, the jacket, the pants, the shoes, and nice hair, by the way. But I like my avatar that I created. All right, let's get on with the fight. Bam! GG. I still got it. We exchange a fist bump and phrase each other's tech. That was fun, but don't you feel a little unsatisfied? Bobby's voice dropped a notch as he leaned in. Games are cool and all, but how about a real fight? I was thinking the same thing. I'm in. Then bring it. With that, we jump right in. Oh, here we go again. Nice try. GG. We exchange a fist bump and phrase each other's attack again. Wait, how many times are we gonna keep doing this? Okay, what is going on here? I mean, I am supposed to win, right? Okay, that chapter ain't leading us nowhere. Oh, quick. Oh, that's right. Sorry, I don't think so. I couldn't agree with something I knew nothing about. I apologize and decline. Amber Buchana laughed. I must apologize on behalf of my husband. He always gets like this whenever he sees someone he thinks he can use. Come on now. Chase face tensed up like he just sucked up on a lemon. Huh? Grace turned his gaze to the window and let out a noise. I think a little animal just ran by or something. I also glanced over. The snow and wind were picking up outside. A flicker of the light reflected on the landscape outside. The headlights of a car. That's not an animal. Seems like a car. The car drew closer and the entrance door opened. Hello, everyone. It is I, the one and only Jonas Faberge, here to dazzle you with my presence this fine day. A man with a thick beard shouted loudly. In one hand, he carried a long stick with a camera attached to the end of it, like a certain someone I know, Rashad. Must be one of those influencers. Chase questioned under his breath. Meanwhile, Jonas kept on talking to his camera. The man known as Jonas twirled in place as he spoke, catching himself from all different angles. He was clearly recording a video. Excuse me, sir, William proclaimed as he rushed over. Could you please refrain from recording in the lobby? You need special permission to do so. The tone in William's voice was more stirred than usual. Ah, sorry, my man. Jonas shrugged and quickly put his camera away. Having finished his check-in, Jonas walked into the lounge without a hint of shame. Watch out, coming through. His tan face looked tough, but the grin on his bearded lips seemed rather shallow. He popped down next to Grace without even asking. Call me Jonas. My channel is called Fight It. I do videos and streams. You probably checked out my stuff before, right? His Fight It channel, as the name suggested, hosted footage of battles between fighters. I fought all kinds of opponents, beefhead, wrestlers, you name it. Jonas bragged, clearly proud of his accomplishments. But fighting is against the rules here, right? For a moment, I thought I saw Jonas' eyes narrow. But just as quickly, he returned to his usual lighthearted tone and continued talking. Of course, this is a place for fighters to chill, you know? Random fights, totally off limits. I get that, but he leaned in and lowered his voice as if sharing a secret. But we're all still fighters. I heard some great stuff happens on the down low. Interesting. Maybe this place wasn't all tea and biscuit after all. Jonas flashed a sly grin and continued. Plus, there are other rumors about this resort. What kind of rumors? Jonas stroked his beard, leaning silence lingering. Ever heard of the banshee? It's a freaky creature with sharp blades of wind that can, slice people up. Whoa. A creature said to live in the woods, the banshee. It was a local folk tale around those parts. It lurked in the woods with its long sight like nails. Man, the wind's going tonight. Perfect banshee weather, Johnny said as if he was telling a ghost story. I go, have you come here to film it? He shook his head. Nah, I'm just here to vibe like everyone else. But hey, if I catch something cool, I got my camera. Please let's keep the filming to a minimum. William interrupted, his tone firm as he appeared seemingly out of nowhere. Haha, right. Jones was now scratching his head awkwardly. The conversation shifted into getting drinks, but I stood up alone, quietly excusing myself. To be honest, I've been fighting the urge to take a leak. The bathroom was just down the stairs. The Beijing, huh? Sounded ridiculous, but in a place like this, with a storm raging outside, I'm not sure I'd be so surprised if something really did pop out. I was taking care of business and chill ran down my spine. And that's when I heard something. What the heck? Somebody screamed. A scream so haunting it seemed to come from another world. What was that? I panicked and burst out of the bathroom. I wasn't sure, but I had a feeling it came from the game room. As I nervously made my way down the hallway, a shadow appeared in front of me. Whoa! I gasped in shock. It was Bobby. He was panting heavily, clearly flustered. Bobby, I heard a scream. He responded quickly before I could say anything else. Yeah, I heard it too. From the billiard room, I think. Bobby's finger pointed as far as the end of the game room. What was that just now? Did you hear it too? William appeared, rushing over. Bobby's voice rose as if to will William to move faster. Perfect timing, William. Do you have the key? The key? The key to the billiard room. For some reason, the billiard room was locked, and William was the one responsible for holding the resort's keys. Bobby apparently was aware of this. In fact, he had just been going to find William to get the key. Are you sure you heard the scream from in there? William asked, stopping just in front of the door. Bobby nodded in response. I could see the lights flickering inside through the frosted glass window. I'm opening the door now. William pulled a set of keys from his apron pocket. He released the lock with a small magnetic click. After a brief pause, he turned to the doorknob. We stepped through the door carefully and with a hesitation. The flickering light made it difficult to get a clear sense of what was inside. The room locked normally, with a large billiard table standing in the counter. We nervously huddled together and walked around it. And there behind the table we saw it. Oh my God! Eek! I couldn't tell if the pitiful scream had came from me, Bobby, or William. It was likely that all three of us had yelped. What we saw was beyond words an unspeakable sight. A dead body. The man's body lay twisted on the floor unnaturally. His face was turned behind his back, his white eyes staring blankly into the void. Every part of his body was conjured like a rag that was rubbed out. It looked as if the blood-curdling scream we heard had been wrung out of him by force. It's John, William muttered in a trembling voice. His face of color shook his head silently. We couldn't bring ourselves to look any longer and slowly stepped away from the body. After a long pause, William finally spoke. Let's leave him as he is for now. Not contaminating the scene seemed to be William's priority. We shouldn't touch anything or leave fingerprints behind. What about the back door? I pointed at it and asked. It was left wide open, battered by the wind, wriggling violently. Evidence could be lost if we didn't do something. Yes, let's close it, William said, and I shut the door. I grabbed the knob using the hem of my shirt and locked it with a twist. We left the room and locked the inner door behind us. Now no one could enter the billiard room. Should we call the police? Bobby muttered in a hoarse voice, and William responded, Yes, let's go upstairs and call them for reception. This is getting spooky. We return to the first floor and William gathered all the guests in the lounge. He tells them something has happened, but to stay calm. He then walked over and grabbed the phone at the reception desk. What in tarnation? Tell us what's going on. The questions came pouring as if I gestured with my hand signaling to calm everyone down. After taking a deep breath, I spoke. Someone has died. Died? What? Oh no! Everyone reacted in shock. Bobby, usually so confident, was trembling, and the tremor in my own voice made it clear that this was no joke. I spoke slowly, recounting what we had seen. The person who had died was likely John. The inner door to the billboard room has been locked. The back door leading outside had been left wide open. Are you saying it was murdered? Jonas asked, sounding serious. Could you have been mistaken? Colin inquired. She spoke as if she was trying to will to be the case. I shook my head. I recall our naturally twisted body. His neck twisted around to the back. His empty white eyes staring vacantly. The entire body was twisted like a rag, as if someone had gripped a doll and wrung it with all their strength. A hush settled over everyone. Each person struggled to comprehend the situation. It's no use. William's voice shattered the silence. The phone lines are down. The storm must have knocked them, he muttered, shaking his head with a grim expression. Y'all can try using my cell phone. Chase stood up and offered his cell phone to William. Thought it would concern Chase's face drop. What? No signal? That's right, William said with a sing. We intentionally made sure cell phones don't get service up here to help everyone disconnect and relax. We could drive to a spot with a signal, Jonas suggested. No, the roads are likely frozen solid, William said bitterly. If we got into an accident, we'd be stranded. The storm was strengthened by the minute. The surroundings of the resort had disappeared into a darkness, and the blinding snowstorm obscured any view. Venturing outside recklessly didn't seem like a wise choice. The choco clock on the wall cheerfully chimed 9 times. It was already 9 p.m. Someone will die at midnight? Someone muttered quietly. I froze. Without thinking, I pulled out the note and I had instantly put it in my pocket. Could it have something to do with John's death? It's not even midnight yet. Does that mean the killer jumped the gun? Molly said, and the spectacle girl on the verge of tears. This is awful. A murder, where did they go? Abby's voice peached with a panic as she spoke. Unease began to spread through the room. Man, it's like that Family Guy when somebody blamed the president for murder. Adam. I can't take this anymore, Debbie shrieked, her voice shrilled and desperate. What is even happening? I want to go home. Calm down, Debbie. Tiffany tried to soothe her. But even her typically composed Dimmador couldn't mask the worry in her eyes. That's right, let's all calm down. A quiet voice suddenly spoke, interrupting the chaos. It was Grace. She looked around at everyone and continued. Even if the node is a threat, the killer may have deliberately written the wrong time to distract us. There's no point in dwelling on it. She was as calm and steady as ever. The most important thing is understanding the killer's motive. If John was the target, then the murderer has probably already escaped. She had a point. Why would the killer stay near their crime scene? What we need to consider is the worst case scenario. Grace paused, then looked around at everyone again. What do you mean, worst case scenario? Chase asked. Grace took a deep breath, then repelled. That someone else here is the next target. A murmur spread through the group. I picked up where Grace left off. If they are targeting someone else, then the killer might be hiding nearby. Exactly. If I were the killer, that's what I'd do. If you said that you were the killer, you'd be giving yourself away, dude. Or ma'am. Grace said, nodding. Someone else? Ah! Debbie screamed again. Nothing's for certain. We're just considering all possibilities here. William said calmly, taking charge of the conversation. For now, let's check all the doors and windows. Good thinking. All right, fellas, follow me. Chase took charge, showing off his leadership expertise. This is what a leader is supposed to do, he said, flushing a smug grin at the girls. Considering the situation, I decided that I should help out. Let's start from the second floor, William suggested as we gathered in front of the stairs. William, Chase, Bobby, Jonas, and me. 5 of us in total. Be careful, Grace said quietly, waving her hand to send us off. We nodded and began climbing the stairs. It's almost like Scooby-Doo. We started checking all the guest rooms. We opened every door and inspected inside each one. The rooms appeared in order and the windows were locked. The showers were all clear too. There was a small ventilation window in the hallway, but it was far too narrow for someone to fit through. Ain't nobody here, Chase muttered, a hint of relief in his voice. Yeah, seems like it, I answered. A silent understanding passed between us. All of a sudden, a noise. It came from inside one of the rooms. What was that? Chase stuttered. It came from the storage room. Bobby pointed to the end of the hallway. There was a single door. That's where we keep cleaning supplies and things. There's enough space for a person to hide, William explained in a low voice. The storage room door was slightly ajar. We held our breath and silently surrounded it. One of us had to open the door to check inside, but who would it be? We exchanged glances. Our eyes all turned to one person. Me, Max. Chase whispered, his voice. The rest of us nodded and uneased. It looked like the leader was going to have the lead. Dagnammit! Chase gathered his resolve and grabbed the doorknob. Oh, it was Chase. And slowly opened. And it. Suddenly, a tiny figure shot out. Guys, it was just a cat. Ah! Chase yelled as he stumbled and fell on his backside. The figure zipped past him and dashed down the hallway. A cat? William breathed, his voice lanced with relief. Oh, it's Ruby. What was she doing in there? It appeared to be one of the resort's resident cats. That was everything on the second floor, including the storage room confirmed safe. We headed back down to the first floor. For a moment, I was startled by the scream I heard from the lounge area, but it turned out to be nothing to worry about. Ruby had rushed down to the first floor, earning a squeal of glee from Tiffany when she spotted her. For a moment, I was startled by I already read that. Oh my gosh, a kitty! At this point, any distraction was a good one. We continued to check the first floor. Reception, the staff room, the dining hall, the kitchen, and finally, the bathrooms. Nothing seemed out of ordinary, and every window was securely locked. At last, we made our way toward the game room. We carefully searched the gaps between the arcade machines. The only room left to search was the billiard room. We came to a stop in front of the door. The thought of facing the corpse again weighed heavily. William and Bobby's face were just as tense. Yo, there's a body in there, right? Jonah's voice quivered, yet his eyes lit up with excitement. A camera had someone appeared in his hands as if he was planning to capture the moment. Now wait just a minute. Williams shot a sharp glance at the cameras. I hope you don't intend to use that. Of course not. Jonas quickly hid the camera behind his back. I'm just having a peek. No, we better not. Williams shook his head. We checked everything in there after we found the body earlier. No one was around and we locked the back door. He was right. The billiard room should be completely secure. It was best not to interfere and pervade the scene. We explained our logic to Jonas and returned to the lounge. There was no sign of anything unusual within the resort. Hearing this, a sense of relief washed over everyone. As long as the front door was locked, no one would be able to get inside unless they broke through a window. Don't jinx it. All we had to do was stay vigilant through the night, keep an eye on the weather, then head out tomorrow. We could then contact the police, and everything would be fine. These thoughts cascaded through my mind like a waterfall until one single thought became a trap in the current. Could the perpetrator really have escaped outside? Honestly, Jonas' killer could be any of us. This possibility shouldn't be ruled out. I took a deep breath and spoke up. The killer, it could be any of one of us. A sudden shift in the air left everyone uneasy. It was something that he had all vaguely sensed but hadn't dared to consider it. I took the first leap into the unknown. There's something here who doesn't have an alibi. A wave of excitement surged through me. Grace had said we each have a role to play here, and this might very well be mine. I was the detective, the one that could solve it all. With all eyes fixed on me, I continued to. And that person is me. The Yeah, it's too early. It's too early to say for sure. That's right. There aren't enough clues to figure this out. I shook my head. And discreetly, awkwardly, atmosphere filled the lounge. Very well. William, who had been usually silent, raised his voice if he had made up his mind. Let's check around outside of the resort. A whisper spread through the group. William continued in a calm tone. Quickly, checking the surroundings should give us some resourceful. There's nothing to worry about, yes? Count me in. Bobby stepped forward. It was the same group as before. I knew I should go too. Jonas also stood up, personally thinking the same thing. Chase didn't move. I reckon I'll stay here and look after the ladies. He was likely feeling the sting of embarrassment of having screamed at nothing but a little cat. We set off as a group of four. At Jonas' suggestion, we decided to split into two groups and circle the mansion from opposite sides. Well, guys, the stream's about to end. I wish I can continue, but we're running out of time. Have a good happy Halloween, and have a nice day. We'll continue this.